welcome. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And, of course, you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and show archives, etc. Hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online and Tomorrow Radio. Today is a Friday, a very special Friday the 13th, Friday, August 13th, 2021. Happy Reinstatement Day, everybody. Very, very exciting. Today, if you don't know, today is the day, according to QAnon and Mike Lindell. Today is, it's the day that it's supposed to be official. Still waiting. I figured it was probably happening around noontime because that's when the inauguration is typically. But today is Trump's Reinstatement Day, according to QAnon and Mike Lindell, and according to polling data that I've seen, roughly a third of Republicans believe this. Now, the clock is ticking. Like I said, I figured it would be at noon. Maybe it'll happen during my show. Maybe there will be breaking news today. Wouldn't that be exciting if it actually happens live while I'm on the air? And if it does, by the way, we will divert the feed to one of the major news networks to cover it, the re-swearing in of Donald John Trump. Would he still be considered, once he's reinstated, if that does happen? And like I said, as the day wears on, I am becoming increasingly skeptical. But if and when he is reinstated today, will he still be considered the 45th president, or will he become the 47th president? How does that work exactly? Is the Biden administration scrubbed from the history books when President Donald John Trump reassumes the throne of the presidency on Reinstatement Day? It's very, very exciting. I know, by the way, there is some quibbling and conjecture about, well, maybe it's not actually supposed to be on the 13th. Maybe it's not supposed to be until the 14th or the 15th. You know, sometimes people make these predictions and they don't always fall on the precise day that was originally prescribed. But we'll see. We'll see. But I know that today is supposed to be Reinstatement Day. So a very, very exciting day for all you MAGA cultists out there who just cannot wait for Donald Trump to reclaim the mantle of the presidency. It must be very exciting for some of you. So there you go. Anyway, I do want to remind you, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. They have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have a large assortment of craft beer, and it's Friday, which means tonight they have Grant Lampton performing live from 7 to 9 p.m., as he is there every Friday evening. He's doing a residency there. Make sure you check him out. Very, very talented gentleman. He joins us every Tuesday here as Mike Sutterth for his weekly Tweakonomics segment. But Friday nights, he steps into the telephone booth as Mike Sutterth, and he comes out holding a guitar as Grant Lampton. And so he'll be there tonight. Of course, the Hop Knot, great food, great service, and a wonderful family that owns and operates it. And we're so honored and proud to have them as a sponsor, as well as the other great sponsors here at WMNH, like Queen City Cabinetry, CGI Business Solutions. And I just heard right before we went on the air, you know, we'll play it again, of course, at the top of the hour when we take our break, the brand new commercial for Adored Wi-Fi, the newest sponsor here at WMNH. Peter White made the announcement on the morning show this past Monday morning about Adored Wi-Fi coming on board, now operating here in Manchester. So very exciting. Things continue to grow here. If you're interested in sponsorship, or you know a business who might be, feel free to reach out to me. Shoot me an email. Easiest way to do that is matt@mattconnerton.com. Hit me up. It's affordable. It's a great value, and I would love to talk to you if it's something about which you would like to talk to me. So matt@mattconnerton.com. If you would like to reach out and contact us during the program for something related to the show, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. We might have a couple of guests stopping in, so we'll see. I did hear from someone, so I am alone at the moment now, though. So feel free to call. The phone line is open, 603-250-6007. And we'll say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat in a moment. But I also want you to know, apropos of nothing, just something that happened today. I was on my way here, and I saw a big bad biker-looking dude on a pink motorcycle as I was on my way here. And I saw that, and I'd never seen anything quite like that before, and I thought, you know what? That looks pretty cool. I like that guy. We have our first call of the show today. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Ronnie. How you doing, bud?
Good, Ron. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Matt, I know you did the commercial, or it's your voice in the commercial for the Hop Knot.
Yes.
And I know Queen City Cabinetry, I'm not sure who did their commercial.
Peter.
Because I like it quite a lot with all the different music clips that are kind of joined together. That whoever did that really is pretty cool.
That's Peter White.
Peter did that. Well, that's pretty cool. He did a great job.
Yes.
And I did hear this other guy's commercial today, and 99% of it I thought was pretty all right. Nothing fancy, but the beginning of it reminded me of a Love Connection kind of thing until it got going, and I figured it all out. I don't know if he did that commercial himself, but maybe in the time, before time goes too far. Again, he's your sponsor, so I'm not going to knock the guy down, but I just think the quality for what is just for what I've heard so far, just a little on the weaker side. But, kudos to him. I wish he makes $1 billion in the next 5 years, so I wish him the best.
All right. Duly noted.
Yeah, and one last thing. So, we haven't heard Trump's name too much in a whole long time. What becomes of his company again? Does he take it back from his kids, or does it stay in his son's name? Or what would be the road for them and that?
Yeah, that I don't know. I assume Trump is back to when he's not plotting his return. Today is a big day, Ron. Today is supposed to be Trump's reinstatement day. So it might be a moot point if he is reinstated today. But I don't know. I don't know if he's still letting the kids run it. I don't know if he was ever really completely disinvolved in the company. That's a good question. I'm not really sure.
And even one more question. What about Joe Biden's son? I don't know, for a while he was under scrutiny, and then that just kind of disappeared. Is that all said and done?
Well, a lot of the proposed investigations into Hunter Biden were, based on a lot of conjecture and things that have since been debunked. I don't accept. I think there might be, now that you mention it, I think there might have been, and it might be ongoing or it might not. I think the Department of Justice might have been investigating something about him. I'm not sure, Ron, to be honest with you. I forget where all that stands. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he's necessarily completely off the hook, but I don't think it was ever proven. That stuff about the computer and everything all turned out to be a bunch of nonsense. So,
really,
so I don't know. I don't think we're going to hear much about Hunter Biden in the future, but we may. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right, Ron.
Have a good day.
All right.
And I hope to hear from you tonight.
Yes, on Retro Spectrum Radio. Absolutely. All right. Thanks for the call, Ron. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, Retro Spectrum Radio will be live tonight at 7:30 with Paulie C. And I have the honor and privilege of being Paul's co-host on that show, along with our friend Dan Randlett. And sometimes DJ Steve is with us as well. Summertime Songs is the theme this week, I believe. So we look forward to that tonight at 7:30. But Ron leaves us. That opens up the line for you. 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. Let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Rocky Huber says, "What's up, Matt Connarton?" What's up, Rocky? Stacy Lawton from Nashua, who is a top fan, says, "Good afternoon, Matt." Jenny is in the chat room and says, "Shalom." Stacy says, former crack addict. I'm kind of wondering if he's back on it, referring, of course, to Mike Lindell. By the way, Mike Lindell just did that cyber symposium, which apparently was quite a success. I'm kidding, of course. It was a terrible embarrassment, or it would be an embarrassment if, in fact, Mike Lindell is capable of being embarrassed, which I don't suspect he is. He doesn't strike me as particularly self-aware or someone who is ever embarrassed by anything. And in his mind, it probably was a rousing success. Let's see. Dirk Don is in the Facebook live chat. Dirk, of course, from the great Arrogant Media. And he says in all caps, "Give me God, Emperor Trump." Well, that would be interesting. That raises a good question, Dirk. Is it possible that, because, look, if this happens, if this thing happens today that is supposed to happen, Trump's reinstatement, will he, because he will be the first president in American history to be reinstated? It just occurred to me when this goes up, when this goes up on YouTube, it's going to end up getting removed because of because YouTube won't be able to detect my, the algorithms won't be able to detect my sarcasm. Anyway, well, we'll see what happens. Okay. So here's the question. Because Trump will be the first president in American history to be reinstated after having lost an election, does he get, so that's a unique event in and of itself, that Crackerjack, or the Kraken lawyer, as she's often referred to, Sidney Powell, she's the one who brought it to our attention that apparently somewhere in the Constitution, buried somewhere in there, is a provision that allows for the reinstatement of Donald Trump. No one else, she is such a constitutional scholar that no one else has even been able to find the clause in the Constitution that says that. But she clearly has pored over the entire document and was able to figure that out. So anyway, when Trump is reinstated, will he be simply President Trump, or will he be, as Dirk suggests, God Emperor Trump? And I think maybe because he will be reinstated, the first president in American history to be reinstated after losing the election, I think perhaps he does deserve a greater and grander title. So I like that idea, but we'll see. I don't know any of these QAnon freaks, so I can't ask one of them. But perhaps that's what will happen. That would be very, very exciting, wouldn't it? He'd be our first God Emperor. Let's see. Stacey is asking, has Ron put any clothes on? I assume so. I believe Ron is only nude during the morning show, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. We have another call. I knew reinstatement day was going to be very busy around here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this? Hello? Anyone there? It's the Phantom. Tom Blanchard is in the chat room. Tom says Friday the 13th is actually the day that a lot of the Knights Templars were executed. Oh, is that where that comes from, Friday the 13th? Because that is a bad day. I mean, look, anytime, whether you're a Knights Templar or not, anytime that you're executed, I mean, that's, you're having a rough day. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Matt, can you hear me? This is Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Hey, I need you to educate me on something. Now I'm being so serious.
Yes.
Under what circumstances would he be reinstated anyways? Is this have to do with voting fraud? Or, I mean, I guess I'm just haven't even got a real clue.
Well, I'm not exactly sure either. I think the idea is that there was mass voter fraud. I mean, there's no actual evidence, but that doesn't seem to matter to any of these people. So I think they think that because there is mass voter fraud in their minds, then Trump is inevitably going to be reinstated. Plus, I think there's a whole backstory if you go on one of those websites like 4chan or whatever. But I think ultimately, if you really want to get behind the whole concept, it helps if you're a former meth addict who starts a pillow company. But honestly, Ron, it's all very confusing to me as well, my friend. So I wish I could explain it, but I'll tell you what, though, if it does happen, as much as I don't like Trump, it will be very exciting and truly a historic day.
All right, I guess I can figure it out from what you laid out. It's not based on fact; it's based on fiction, and then fake news, all that. And for the caller who was wondering if I did have any clothes on, I got to be honest with you. I did decide to get a little comfortable. I am wearing socks and a T-shirt, and that's about it.
Well, you know, Ron, it's a hot day. It's a very, very hot day. I don't blame you.
That's it. But all my windows are closed. Nobody can see in. Nobody can see out. Just me and my cats.
You and your cats, huh? All right. Very good.
Yep. Okay.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, I'm glad that Ron had a question that I wasn't able to fully answer, but he was able to answer Stacy's question. So everything works out in the end. 603-250-6007 if you'd like to call. 603-250-6007. Mike Pelopita joins us in the Facebook live chat. Mike, of course, from Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. You can bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH. Stacy says, hey, like in Egypt, they're going to call him Pharaoh Trump. Oh, that would be very exciting, wouldn't it? Let's see, Forbes.com. Maybe this will answer some of Ron's questions and mine and those of all of us. Forbes.com posted this article. QAnon marked today as Trump reinstatement day. Here are other flop predictions of Trump's return. Oh, there's a pattern here. The remaining hardcore QAnon followers who are still holding out that former President Donald Trump will somehow be reinstated as president were dealt another disappointment today. Wait, hold on. Before we continue with this, I have to say the day's not over. Look, I did assume it was going to happen at noon if it was going to happen because that's when the inauguration happens, at noon or a little bit before. Because if you remember... I don't know if people remember this or notice this. The day that Biden was inaugurated, I remember Jenny and I, we both noticed, they did it a little bit early. They didn't wait until noon. Granted, it takes a few minutes to do the swearing in, but they didn't wait until noon. They did it about 20 minutes early, and I do believe it was intentional, and I do believe it was a little bit of a finger in the air to a certain gentleman who was in the process of becoming the former president in that moment. It's just a theory. And, you know, if that is in fact, if my theory is correct, I think that's pretty funny, given how I feel about Trump. Anyway, so it says here, these people who believe that were dealt another blow today. The latest date believers had pegged for an unconstitutional return to power after earlier predictions also went by with a whimper. Key facts. For months, August 13 had been pushed as the date for Trump's return to power, though it doesn't seem there was much of a basis for why this specific date was predicted. Some Trump followers who falsely claim widespread fraud robbed him of a win in the 2020 presidential election had hoped the GOP-pushed Arizona election audit would uncover proof of fraud, but the audit is running months behind schedule and cannot alter the long certified election results. That's an important thing, by the way. You know, once the votes are certified, that's it. They're certified. It's, there's no such thing as uncertification. Let's see. According to Maggie Haberman of the New York Times, Trump himself was saying earlier this year that he believed he'd be reinstated to office by August, though his daughter-in-law and campaign surrogate Laura Trump said Trump's team didn't actually believe he'd return to the White House this year. Wow. She sounds like the negative one in the family. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, a noted conspiracy theorist regarding the 2020 election results, has also floated August 13th as reinstatement day for Trump, and several GOP senators who lost in 2020, while far-right attorney Sidney Powell has also claimed that Trump, quote, can simply be reinstated, unquote, even though there's no legal authority for that to happen. So some key background here in the article. QAnon conspiracy theorists had put earlier hopes on March 4th. Oh, I'd forgotten about this. March 4th as the date when Trump would be sworn in as president. The, quote, true inauguration day. Apparently that's what they call it. Since March 4th is when presidents were sworn in before the 20th Amendment passed in 1933. I didn't know this, which moved inauguration day up to January 20th. But there was an even stronger theory behind that date, with QAnon followers claiming that the U.S. government had secretly turned into a corporation in 1871. Oh, God, I know people who are really into this whole corporation thing. Meaning that all presidents that had served since Ulysses S. Grant have actually been illegitimate. The idea that Trump would be sworn in as the 19th president on March 4th was enough to entice some QAnon followers to travel to Washington to attend the non-existent ceremony, with Trump's D.C. hotel mysteriously choosing to jack up room rates around that date. There's more, but can I just say, if they did that, if somebody in the Trump organization said, hey, when these people come to town, we know they're going to be in town for that date because they believe this nonsense. We got to jack up our roommates and make some money off of these freaks. I'm actually fine with that. I'm all for it. Hey, that's just capitalism. Sometimes being stupid and or crazy can cost you money. That's just capitalism, baby. What are you going to do, right? Anyway. But while some still believe Trump will return as president, the wins were largely taken out of the sails of the QAnon movement when Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th president on January 20th, leaving QAnon followers who truly thought Biden wouldn't be allowed to become president dumbfounded. Many QAnon followers believed they would arrive at Biden's inauguration only to reclaim power and execute Democrats, who QAnon says are part of a satanic child sex trafficking cult that secretly controls the U.S. through the dark machinations of the deep state. Yeah. U.S. Representative Dan Crenshaw, Republican of Texas, he's the guy with the eye patch, dismissed a QAnon believer who heckled him during a campaign fundraiser on Wednesday. The heckler said Arizona's election audit would allow Trump to capture its electoral votes, to which Crenshaw replied, "You're kidding yourself," noting that the outcome of the audit can't actually flip the Arizona results. And even if it could, Arizona on its own wouldn't be nearly enough for Trump to claim he actually won the election. Quote, "Don't kid yourself into believing that's why we lost. It's not," unquote. I'm surprised Crenshaw would be so blunt. He's risking his political future doing that. You know, they'll run him out. Next thing you know, he'll be hanging out with Liz Cheney. No, I'm kidding. He'd never do that. Number 18, that's how many states have enacted laws this year making it tougher to vote, according to the Brennan Center for Justice, in an apparent response to Trump's assertion that widespread voter fraud had robbed him of a second term. What we don't know is if QAnon followers plan to place their hopes on yet another day they believe Trump will return as president. It's not clear what that next date will be. By the way, I predict the answer is yes, because that's what always happens. It's like these, you know what this is very much like, and I'm sure this has occurred to many of you as well. It's very much like, you know, the preachers who claim that God talks to them and tells them on what day he plans to destroy the world, or the rapture is going to happen, or he's going to punish all the gay people, or whatever it is, right? You know, they say that God tells them the date that this will happen, and then they announce it to everybody. Okay, here's the date, And of course, it's all a business. It's all a scam. They tell you that because they want you to buy, like Jim Baker or Clyde Lewis, they sell those survivalist food buckets. They want you to buy those so that you're ready for when whatever God told them is going to happen when it happens, even though it doesn't make any sense logically, because in theory, if you are a follower, you are someone who would not actually need the food buckets to survive because you're going to get swept up in the rapture, right? It's the people who are going to get left behind who are going to need the food buckets, but they're not the ones who are in the market for them. So the whole business model is a little flimsy, although maybe not, because it's apparently very successful. But it's the same kind of idea in the sense that you pick a date, and then when what was supposed to happen on that day doesn't happen, you just pick a new date. And you come up with a reason. Doesn't matter how flimsy, doesn't matter how insane, because we're dealing with things that are flimsy and insane to begin with these concepts, right? Whether it's QAnon talking about Trump's reinstatement or some televangelist saying God told him when he's going to end the world, it's all nonsense, right? So you just pick a new date. It's the easiest marketing in the world. You pick a new date. And you say, oh, yeah, it's actually going to be on this date. And then when that date passes, you say, oh, no, okay, it's actually going to be on this date. And you just keep going. This will be the same thing. Let's see. Yeah, so that's really it for the Forbes article. Should we talk about, while we're on the subject, and don't worry, we're not going to spend the whole show on this, but I did think we should have some fun on Reinstatement Day. The what did he call it, Mike Lindell? What did he call it? The Cyber Symposium? Yes, the Cyber Symposium, where one of the people he had speaking at the symposium actually came right out and admitted, yeah, there's no evidence. It's like, whoa, that wasn't the whole idea here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, this is Brandon from Portland.
Brandon from Portland. I don't know if anyone else has said it to you today, Brandon. Perhaps I'll be the first. Happy Reinstatement Day.
It didn't last very long, did it?
How dare you, sir? The day is not over. It is only 4:33 p.m. There are several more hours during which Trump's reinstatement could take place. And as much as I don't like Trump and I don't look forward to him being president again, I am excited for this historic moment should it happen. And I'll be able to someday tell my grandkids, except I don't have any children, so that'll never happen. But I'll someday be able to tell younger generations, I remember that moment when Trump was reinstated. I think it's exciting.
Well, I wasn't really sure who was still genuinely believing that this was going to occur. Only the real fringes of QAnon is not even really a movement anymore. From what I can discern, they've kind of broken up.
Oh, these people are clearly still out there. Actually, I've seen polling data that shows about a third of Republicans, of registered Republicans, believe in all this mess. I mean, Trump, for all his lies, if he has one strength, it's marketing. He knows how to market an idea. And he's been very successful, I would say, at marketing this idea, false as it is, that there was widespread election fraud. And a lot of Republicans buy into it. And they like to go all in on the crazy. Some of them.
I'd say a lot of Republican voters buy the fact that the election was stolen, but a lot of Republican officials have been, their hand has been forced, and they're so cowardly that they won't make a political stand that would potentially hinder their reelection efforts.
100%. That's an excellent point, Brandon. Yeah, most of these people, these Republican election officials, and of course the Republicans serving in Congress and so on, they know it's all a big scam. And obviously,
like Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, of course, and he is cowardly. And yes, he clearly knows. They all know. The voters don't catch on, but the people actually running the scam, they're all in on it. Absolutely, 100%.
And once, well, it's going to be interesting. What's going to happen? We'll see in the midterms. Basically, the Republicans will see which Trump candidates, well, if the Trump candidates do better than, or if all the non-Trump candidates lose, we'll see how that unfolds. Like how Trump is the party really.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I think the party is still very Trump. I believe, for example, you've probably heard me say it. I've been predicting on the show that the political career of Liz Cheney is probably over. The political career of Adam Kinzinger is probably over. I believe they will both be primaried by Trump-backed candidates. In fact, I think Trump has already said something about backing someone to oppose Liz Cheney. I think Trump.
Liz Cheney, also Lisa Murkowski in Alaska.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. I think Trump still looms large. So much so, I believe he is the presumptive nominee in 2024. I believe he'll be, barring prison or a health issue, I believe he will be the Republican nominee in 2024. I really do.
Well, that's likely the case, but what we'll see before that is these sort of proxy wars in the party, and we'll see who will, if the Trump, well, obviously Trump is the majority of the party, but will they completely take over all these moderate Republican seats in the primaries, or will the couple of them hold on?
Yeah, I mean, I think the moderates who are safe are the ones who kind of keep their heads down and try not to say anything, I mean,
or you could be like Mitt Romney and kind of just understand where you are politically. And I guess Mitt Romney, I mean, it doesn't take, I don't think he has a lot of courage for what he's done, but in things like voting for impeachment, such as, stuff like that. What do you think about Mitt Romney?
He might, well, when is he up for re-election? I mean, he's a senator, so he's got, I don't know if he's even actually at his age. I mean, he's in his 70s. He might not even be looking to run for another term. But
he's up. I think he's up in 2024.
Is he? So he might be. If he was, I would be more worried about his future if he was up in 2022. If he's up in 2024, well, no, actually, he will be in jeopardy, because if my theory is right that Trump will be the nominee, and Romney doesn't get right on that Trump train, which I don't think he'll do. I don't think he'll sell out and somehow find a way to be with Trump. Then, yeah, he actually, you know what, Brandon, I'm going to make a prediction here. I don't think Romney runs for re-election, partly because of his age, but partly because I just don't think he's going to want to.
He'll see the writing on the wall.
I think so. Yeah.
And there's a couple of moderate candidates who are likely to run in 2024. People like Larry Hogan of Maryland, Marco Rubio. I don't know if you want to call him a moderate. He's not really a moderate, but in this Republican Party, he's technically a moderate.
Agreed. Yeah.
Even though he beat Charlie Crist in 2010, a moderate Republican, he rode the Tea Party wave.
Yes, true.
The Tea Partiers are now moved to the moderate part of the party?
Well, I guess they have, in a way. I mean, now they call themselves what do they call themselves
Popular.
now? The House, in the House they call themselves the House Freedom Caucus, right? They kind of go with that moniker instead of the Tea Party. I don't know if they even still call themselves that now, but I think now it's.
Well, I don't think they call themselves the Tea Party anymore, since they were outed as a Koch brothers funded thing.
Yeah. But I still think it's very much Trump's party. It's incredible. I mean, it's such a cult. We've never seen anything like this before. Usually if
what about Ronald Reagan?
Yeah. So growing up, I'm in my 40s, and growing up, of course, Republicans worshipped Ronald Reagan. That is true. In fact, I've often referred to him as the patron saint of conservatism. But I think that even Ronald Reagan would be envious of the love and adulation these people have for Donald Trump. And did you notice, Brandon? Republicans, when running for office, they would always try to make themselves kind of look like Reagan. They would quote Reagan. They would often refer to Reagan, and they would talk about wanting to be like Reagan. And did you notice when that all ended, when Trump came along. And all of a sudden, it's like Republicans everywhere just completely forgot about Ronald Reagan. You notice that? Nobody really mentions Ronald Reagan anymore. It's all...
That's really interesting because, like you said, they used to have debates at the Reagan Forum in California. And there was a famous moment in 2008 where the Republican candidates mentioned Reagan, I think, 150 times in one debate.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, like in 2016, I don't recall really Reagan being mentioned. Marco Rubio mentioned him a little bit.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz mentioned him a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that happened, which was kind of an interesting moment, was during one of the debates, Rand Paul kind of called everybody out. And I've come to find Rand Paul to be pretty detestable, but he's had a good moment here or there. And during one of the debates in 2016, he said something about, we all try to make ourselves in the image of Reagan, but there can never be another Ronald Reagan, so it's kind of foolish to keep invoking his name or something. He kind of called everybody out on it, and I think that kind of put a little bit of a chill on that whole thing. But I think it was more about Trump. Trump showed up on the scene. He's immediately in double digits in the polls, and that seemed to be what Republicans wanted, and they forgot about Reagan.
That, but also the idolatry, the image of Reagan has started to kind of unfold a little bit as we look at history, because the Republican narrative is that Reagan was an uber Republican. He cut taxes. He Reaganomics. He did all this great stuff that Republicans would love today, when in reality he gave amnesty to illegal immigrants. Yep,
that is true.
And that's something that would never, ever pass in the Republican Party today.
No, that is true. And Republicans don't like to talk about that, although back when they used to actually talk about Reagan, they didn't like to talk about that, although I've heard many a Republican over the years kind of try to get around that a little bit by saying
that, Bill O'Reilly made a book talking about how Reagan, his Alzheimer's is what caused him to do these liberal things.
For real?
And somehow the shooting in 1980 caused him to go through all these things, and he had a blood transfusion, and that's why he made all these wrong decisions.
Really? That's what O'Reilly claims? Wow.
Yeah, and he got into a huge argument with George Will, who's a famous conservative columnist.
Yeah.
Because George Will is like a Reagan is awesome. Reagan was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill O'Reilly was saying, like, well, no, he did all these liberal things because he was nuts in the head.
Oh, my God. And George Will didn't go for that, I assume.
No, and in fact, Bill O'Reilly called, of course, Bill O'Reilly would call someone a liar on his show and a pinhead and a liberal loon.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah, I think... usually that's a creative approach that O'Reilly took. Usually over the years, I've heard Republicans try to say, well, Reagan did the amnesty, but he did it with the understanding that that there would be some comprehensive immigration reform, including building a wall or something that would immediately follow the amnesty, and then the Democrats betrayed him and didn't follow through with all of that, and then Reagan regretted the amnesty. That's always kind of been the way that Republicans have tried to get around that.
The whole big government, Reagan was famous for giving states' rights. He was famous for always stood on the line with states' rights. He was never a big government conservative, but in fact, he's the one who implemented the drinking age laws across the U.S.
What, making it 21 across the board?
Yeah, he basically not mandated, but he kind of coerced all the states to have their ages to 21.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He started it, like the last state was Louisiana in 1996, but Reagan was the one who got that going.
Oh, that I didn't know. All right, well, I learned something. Yeah, I've never really been clear on exactly when that happened. It's interesting. I mean, I always hear older, people much older than me talk about, oh, yeah, when I was growing up, you could drink at 18, but I never really was clear on when that started to change or when that was completed nationally. Oh, all right. Well, I learned something. Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for taking my call. And, I also just wanted to clarify the call that we had with John Hopwood.
Yes.
They were very accusatory of whether I was, in fact, a Mainer or not.
I noticed that. And
I have a little bit of a scoop.
Okay.
And it's that I'm I am from Portland, but I'm from a Portland near you.
A Portland? Well, that would be Portland, Maine.
Yeah, but anywhere, any listener of the show, I'm from a Portland near you.
Oh, and anyone who's listening. Okay, gotcha. So you are from. So if someone is listening on the West Coast, you might be from Portland, Oregon. You're sort of like what's the term I'm looking for? You're
a gypsy.
No, I was thinking more. It starts with an O. You're like omnipresent. You're like wherever we go, you're in a Portland nearby.
Right.
Yes. Well, that's nice. That's how I like to. That's how I like to think of you, Brandon.
And I'm hoping that we will have a little more reoccurrence of John Hopwood on the show.
I hope so too. We'll try to make that happen. I don't think he was prepared. I don't think he realized how truly popular he is, and his posterior as well. I don't think he knew.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I'll talk to you soon, Matt.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for the call. Take care. All right, the mysterious, somewhat mysterious Brandon from Portland giving us a call. Always nice to hear from Brandon. And speaking of mysterious, well, we'll give him a moment to get set up. I want to say hi to a couple people who have entered the chat room. John Monroe, I think, is a new name in there. John says, "Afternoon, Matt. Thanks to Charles Richardson for sharing your show." Yes, wonderful. The Charles Richardson Show, of course, on every Wednesday and Friday night, also soon to be on Monday nights online from 7 to 9 p.m. And we love Charles. Also, I see Miriam Banish is now in the chat room. Hello, Miriam. And Jenny, this was regarding our conversation we just had with Brandon. She says, there used to be an office across from the State House in Concord called Reagan Republicans. So much for them. Yeah. Trump made everyone forget about Reagan. Well, here we have on the couch. Hello there, sir. Oh, hang on. I turned on the wrong mic. I apologize.
That's all right.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm delirious from this heat.
I know. Are you, would you say you're crazy from the heat?
No, I don't. I just feel, I think I'm like a step away from heat stroke. This is ridiculous.
That's not good.
No, I'm fine. I'm just kidding.
I would prefer not to have to call an ambulance.
No, we'll be fine. I've just been out by a couple of pools today.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Let me be the first, if not, or perhaps a second or third. I don't know if anyone else has told you yet today, but assuming not, I would like to be the first to say happy Reinstatement Day.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Thank God we can go back to a circus.
Oh, did it happen?
No, I don't know. I don't watch TV.
Well, I've been keeping an eye on things. See, here's the thing. So today is supposed to be Trump's Reinstatement Day, but I would have thought it would have been at noontime because that's when the inauguration happens. But here we are. It's
I would have thought it would have been noon just so he could say, "At high noon, I'm coming back."
Right. I don't think he talks that way, though. That'd be kind of strange.
I might vote for him if he did come back talking like Yosemite Sam.
Actually, that would be I might too. That would be
what in tarnation
if he came back and he never talked like the Trump that we know again. He just had this whole new voice and accent.
Dude, just like an over the top like, "Hello, guys. It's me."
I would vote for that. I mean, I think it would be bad for the country, but it would just be so much fun.
What if he just came back with like jet black hair, dude? Like Robert Stack. Or not Robert Stack. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? The guy that shot his wife.
Oh,
allegedly.
Robert Blake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or did he shoot his wife?
Well, he was acquitted.
So was OJ. All right.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
The guy goes to put out a special. If I did do it, this is how, dude, the brazen arrogance.
Hey, by the way, where is Gonzo with you?
Yeah, he's here. He was, if I think I'm delirious from heat stroke, he's probably still wandering outside panhandling or something.
Right.
No, he's here. He had to feed the meter, and then I think he said he was going to grab us something to eat. But we had I think Gonzo will bring it up with him, but we had an artist, Liberty Rain, donated a piece. Another, like a cardboard piece like Peter's.
Oh, like the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead?
Yeah, it's not like that, but it's I don't know. She called the piece Unleashed.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I like that.
Or
Unleashed.
they call the piece Unleashed.
Now, what is Liberty Rain? What is that?
That's an artist, just an artist on the come up. That I thought she was from New York. They were from New York.
It sounds like the name of an organization. That's why I thought Liberty Rain.
Yeah, but Gonzo thinks they are from this area, Massachusetts or New Hampshire. So.
Oh, I see.
But it's a cool piece.
Yeah.
Cool piece.
So you're back from New York. How long were you in New York?
So I was in New York I think I left on like the 2nd or 3rd.
Okay.
Something like that. I'm back until the 17th. Just sticking around for my daughter's 11th birthday. Elin Rain, happy birthday. And then I'm going back down to finish. I have a lot of work down there. It's super exciting.
Yeah,
I have a lot of work.
So what are you doing there? Fill us in.
So I originally went down there to apprentice with another artist. And I thought long and hard about this, how I was going to handle this. And I will just say this. I went down with as an apprentice to another artist, very talented artist. And we don't see eye to eye on certain things that have nothing to do with art.
Really?
Yeah. So, so we had a parting of ways, and I left Brooklyn and I went to Queens, and just by word of mouth and friends of friends and my friend Jesse from Lifted, Jesse Bonato, Mr. At.
Yes.
He has a cooking show called, it's like a cooking and hip hop show called On to Chow with Tragedy Gaddafi. The War Report, Capone Noriega.
Yep.
Back, like Queensbridge legend. But we were hanging out, and his friend, another rapper by the name of Chico Islam, he came by the house, and we were just all chatting, and Traj told him that I was an artist, and then he told me his son, he was trying to get custody of his son, and he wanted to paint the Flash in his room, like running around the room.
Really?
In his whole room. So I went out to the Bayview projects in Brooklyn and priced out like his room, got started on that, and then I have through him an artist that goes by the name of J-Lo, not Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
But an artist that goes by the name of J-Lo, and he's out of Brooklyn too. And I sent Chico gave him my number. We connected. I sent him some files and links and whatnot, and he's got a 10 hotel deal going on and a couple other dispensary situations that he needs other artists to do it in. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I'll be down in New York, probably 2 weeks at a whack, and then home, or even 1 week and then like the weekends.
Sure.
And back. It's not really a bad, like if you leave at the right time of day, it's not a bad drive.
Well, this is fantastic. So is this the busiest you've ever been with just doing art?
Absolutely. And it is the last thing that I thought it was like, I love doing art.
Yeah.
Like I create to create. Like, I think it's the artist Julian Schnabel, I think his name is, was like the only thing an artist cares about is creating art. And that could be, for me, that's in like any discipline, whether it's, music, karate movies, painting, whatever, airtight, like any type of artistic expression I'm down with. But it's definitely the busiest I've ever been for any type of, like for painting, especially.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not like, it was never my, I don't want to say forte because I can safely say I'm a pretty dope artist. I can say that without
sure.
Being, but it took a long time to get there. But yeah, I didn't think that it would be that disciplined that like, I'm actually like, I can actually like pay a phone bill now.
Like you're a professional.
Right. Like I have a rate, like it's like I was talking to Gonzo about it earlier today when we were in Ace Hardware, like grabbing paint and stuff. And now he's getting a kick out of it because it's like, no, I have a rate, dude. Like I know exactly what, and I've never been in people have always asked me like, oh, could you do a piece for this or that? And I'm just always like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to charge. And then just being surrounded by the right people down there, even if it wasn't in the people giving me that advice, were not in the art, quote unquote, contemporary art business.
Yeah.
But it was really drilled into my head down there. Like, no. There's like, for your time, you're like, no, you need to pay yourself before anybody,
Yep. I'm
going to create to create. I'm always going to do that. But I've had some really good guidance down there from some unlikely. I've gotten some wisdom from dudes I used to grow up watching on MTV Raps.
Wow.
It's just,
that's incredible.
yeah, it's really cool.
So not only are you having these great opportunities, but you're kind of getting a business education in terms of art as well.
Absolutely. And like, I will say this about the guy that like I went down there with, and I'm going to leave it at that, is I, as an artist, never, ever even like thought to like measure a wall and graph it out and then do it on paper. And I mean, that's still new to me, but it's, it seems like it's a huge difference. It was definitely a useful skill, and it's useful in pricing out or giving an estimate, stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's a certain, and I think people can relate to this, with any creative endeavor where you're trying to make your way, you're doing your thing, and you're in that sort of gray zone where some people are willing to pay you for it because you've gotten to that point, but then you're in that awkward phase of, I don't know what to charge. And if someone says to me, how much money, well, I don't want to
insult you with it. Like, is that what you're saying? I don't want to insult you with it. And I used to always say, like, at these like little art shows I was doing, which are also my favorite, like, those are my favorite, like little like DJ playing and stuff like that. But it's like, people would be like, oh, how much do you want for that? And it's like, and I could never confidently be like, $45 for that. And like, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. What do you want to get? And like, well, I don't want to insult you. And my horrible negotiating tactics would be like, oh, no, trust me, you're not going to insult me. Like, whatever, if you're going to offer me actual money.
Right.
But I realized that, hey, you can't do that. And I also got some good advice from another artist, which was, don't sell your original ever.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Sell prints.
Yeah.
Like, so you can have it on display or whatever, but sell prints or different variations of it and limited amounts of them for X amount of dollars. Because once you get rid of that, like, I'm thinking of the piece I did that became an album for Ape the Grim, and it's actually on SP1's wall right now, and I'm so glad I never got rid of that because it is one of my favorite pieces. And like, if I made a bunch of prints of that, I think it could do well.
Yeah.
And make a shirt out of it, like whatever. I want to try and do stuff like that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like take a painting that I've done, then like kind of freak it on a digital level, and then like heat press it, to a limited edition number of shirts, whatever.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
What about in terms of how you sell art? Because, like, I've asked Gonzo this. In fact, we were talking about it just recently. Do you is there value in setting up a website and trying to do it that way, or is it really all just kind of you build a reputation and then you just meet people who are interested in buying your art? I mean, how does that part work?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I think, and I'll speak for both of us. I don't care if he disagrees with this. Him and I are. There's no excuse why him and I should not have our own website or collectively have a website. I mean, dude, my social media skill, like, I can't remember my password to get into my, like, I don't, like, it's so bad. I have like 3 different Snapchats, dude. My daughter's on one of them, so I'm like always questioning which one I'm like my social media skills have fallen off for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I went to my art page the other day for like my Facebook page for like the first time, and I don't know, I hadn't painted in a while, and then I got offered that gig, so I went back to my page and save pictures, download pictures. I got to be honest, the heat's getting me. I have no idea what the point of me telling you that was. What were we talking about right before we?
Well, no, I was asking you about the business of selling.
Oh, the selling. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even have stuff on my. I do have a Threadless account. I believe it's m3k.threadless.com, and there's like 3 things on there. But I like that's like a thing where you could buy a skateboard deck.
Yeah.
With one of my, it's like a drop shipping company. Like,
oh,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I almost feel like I would rather like, I want stuff on a website, but I want it like, made to order, and there's only going to be 50 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And X number of sizes or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kanye West can sell a white T-shirt for $800, dude, come on, can't a guy get $15.99 for like?
Right.
I don't know.
Because when I was talking to Gonzo about it recently on the show, I was asking him, and he kind of made it sound like you don't need to do all of that, or at least.
I don't know. I mean, dude, if he's selling pieces like hotcakes, I don't know. I think an online presence is always helpful, but I do think the whole engaging of like art events, like, I would like to see more. Like, I guess they call it in the pretentious art world, they would call like somebody like Gonzo and I an outside artist.
Okay.
Like, we go and do art fairs, and we do like stuff like that. Like, our stuff's not at Sotheby's yet or Christie's.
Yeah.
You like that yet?
Yeah. Well, hey, put the energy out there if that's what you want. Put the energy out there.
No, I don't. I don't want my stuff in galleries. Oh. I want anybody who has my artwork. Like now,
yeah,
and if it's all of a sudden like blows up, I want them to sell it to some pretentious person that has a ton of money. Put your kids through school.
Yeah,
I'll make you something else.
By the way, Gonzo is in the chat room right now, and he says, "Sorry, Rye, had to go home."
He's got to be kidding me right now.
Uh-oh. Why? What happened?
Dude, all my yo.
Oh no.
Dude.
Uh-oh. What's wrong?
Nothing, dude. I'll survive.
Oh, I need to know. Is all your stuff?
Dude, all my stuff's in his car, man. Dude, he's got the painting we were gonna get. Like,
oh,
something tells me he might be like it's Cesario's just talking.
Oh, maybe you think he's just messing with you?
But no, I don't. He's such a douche. No, I don't think he's bad. Sorry.
Well, I
you know what though, dude, Matt? I totally went into this day like accounting for that. 100%. Like, I'm not really throwing that far off my game.
What do you mean?
Oh, accounting for when my buddy here, Gonzo, came into the mix, and because I love seeing him. I love the man's art brain. Like, it's a lot of fun. Like, he's one of the only people that, like, when we're creating something, like, you can talk, even if it's not a piece he's creating, I can talk to him about what I'm doing, and we speak the same language.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So I love that about him. I love his critiques, and I love his feedback, and I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. I believe he's the best living artist. That's my opinion.
Wow.
I've said it 1,000 times. I just really wish he would. Just really wish he would rope it in a little bit, like a little bit, dude.
Yeah. Well, perhaps he'll. Perhaps.
Whatever. I really don't care.
By the way, Abigail says, I have a Ryan Gorman original, Abigail Gem. She's in the chat room.
AG in the house.
Yes.
Which one is that? Ask her which one is.
Well, she can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. Everybody does that.
Gem, which one could you describe it at length?
And Jenny says, that so rocks, Gorman. She's very happy for you, of course.
Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate you.
And who else did I saw somebody else in here, I thought. And Braden Russell, where'd the comment go? Did you delete it, Braden? I can't find your comment. Braden Russell made a comment about our friend Brandon from Portland, suggesting maybe he's in Portland, Ontario. I can't find the comment now, though. It's like it disappeared. That's really weird. I don't think he deleted it because I don't know why he would do that. That'd be strange. DJ Midas is in the chat room. Midas, a top fan, and of course, host of Late Night Delight, which you can hear every Saturday night beginning at 12 midnight with a replay on Sunday all the way to 4 a.m.
Midas must be standing at the door with his bags packed, ready to go.
Oh, that's right. He's on Baby
ready
Watch.
To go.
Yes, yes. Baby Watch.
It's going to be great when Luke Skywalker, bang, Midas is born.
Well, we should take a break. We are at the top of the hour. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH. Ryan Gorman is here with us. Oh, Eric Street just joined us in the chat room. Hello, Eric. We're going to play a little something. I haven't played this Weatherman Says for a while. It's a very, very hot day. And then we'll show some love to our sponsors, and then we will be back with hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. We are well into hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc. Hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online and Tomorrow Radio. Today is Friday, August 13th, 2021, Reinstatement Day, a day that will go down in history probably as likely when the reinstatement didn't actually happen. But hey, what are you going to do? We should all mark it on our calendars regardless. Let's see. I do want to remind you, of course, we are sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, across the street. The Hop Knot on Elm, officially, because it is on Elm Street. They have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer, and it's Friday, which means tonight they have Mr. Grant Lampton performing there live from 7 to 9 p.m. Grant is, speak of the devil. Wow, perfect timing. I literally just said your name. Grant Lampton, also known as Mike Sutterth, has just entered the studio. You should sit at the, you want to sit at the desk? You should sit at the desk. It's better if you sit at the desk. Yeah. What's that?
Break it in.
Yeah, there you go. Were you not wanting to sit at the desk because you sit at the desk as Mike Sutterth and today you're Grant Lampton? Is that what was going through your head?
Yeah, I didn't want to get folks confused.
Right. But yes, Grant will be tonight at the Hop Knot from
Indeed.
7 to 9 p.m., which is quite wonderful. And what should our listeners know who might go to the Hop Knot tonight? What should they know to expect from your performance?
They've got a lovely patio outside, and folks are braving the humidity and the heat index out there. I was surprised.
Yes.
Last weekend I did actually play outside, but it was a heck of a lot more pleasant than it is today.
Oh.
So I will be inside until further instructed here in about the next hour. I've loaded in all the trucks upon trucks of Marshall stacks, and
yes.
So I'm also all set up. I'm going to visit with you here a little bit. Then I'm actually going to go plug everything in, and then I'm going to come back and talk to my good buddy Rob, who I've not seen in months.
Oh, outstanding. So you'll be on Granite State of Mind tonight?
I will. He's got a guest in the first slot. He didn't inform me who, but he said, please pop by in the second half. It's worth shouting out that Rob Azevedo was the guy who actually invited me here about 2.5 years ago, just as a random musician that one of his friends I was a mutual friend with introduced us. And Rob, he's like, oh, you play music? You should come on the show. And
yep.
I just want to give a shout out to him. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Fridays here, of course, Granted State of Mind at 6 p.m., hosted by the great Rob Azevedo, and Grant will be on that program tonight as well. And then, of course, at 7:30 tonight here at WMNH, we have Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. From 7:30 to 10. And, of course, while we're doing that show here, Grant is across the street playing at our wonderful sponsor, the Hop Knot. So there's a lot that goes on in this little corner of the universe on Friday nights. It's pretty cool.
It's quite the alley, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
We're within a stone's throw across good old Elm Street here.
Yes. Now, when you're Grant Lampton instead of Mike Sutterth, does it feel different to you, or or is it just what's in a name?
Well, musically, I've tried to stop doing two names. I do it out of courtesy to another bar owner that it's not worth talking about on advice. Yeah. When I play music, I like to be Grant Lampton. It's that's easier for me. When I try to do your our Tweakonomics segment here, I want it to be jovial and all that, but I want people to take it somewhat seriously for discussion's sake. Music is a completely different ball of wax, and that I get to go in and it's like jumping off a cliff. I go in and I jump off the cliff, and I was just telling Kenny and Jesse over there that it's really a perfect spot for me that I can really invite anybody. I invited a former boarding school teacher. I was just telling him, got in touch through Facebook, and I'm like, hey, come on down to the Hop Knot. He's like, well, what kind of place is it? I'm like, just come on, trust me on this one. Like anybody, it's a really cool, comfortable space that I wouldn't say don't bring your kids or don't bring your wife or
of course,
because those places do exist.
Yes, absolutely. What's on your hat? TCU?
Yes, my mother went to Texas Christian University down in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm a big fan of the Horned Frog football team. Hook 'em.
Fort Worth, Texas. Does she know Texas Mike's meme?
Perhaps. My mom was born in Lubbock, Texas. Went to Idalou High School.
Oh, okay. Just wondering.
TCU. I'm a big fan of purple, so I like the team.
Oh, very good. By the way, for those wondering, Ryan Gorman was with us for a few minutes. He left the premises to go find Gonzo to see if Gonzo did in fact go home, or if he's downstairs at Cesario's having a slice of pizza.
I have a clue.
Or maybe he's at the Hop Knot.
I discovered a piece of folded cardboard downstairs distinctly with the lattice pattern when I walked in. So I think he'll return.
Oh.
I don't think he'd leave it in the little vestibule downstairs.
Oh.
So that was a clue that I'm like, okay, Gonzo's been here.
That is a good clue.
And will probably return.
That is a clue. Yeah, because he said in the chat room, in the Facebook live chat, that he said, sorry, Ryan, I had to go home. But maybe he didn't. It could all be a ruse.
Well, somebody better look after the folded piece of cardboard with... very descriptive Gonzo painting on it. Yes.
Well, fortunately, things are a little this time of day on a Friday. Things are pretty quiet in the building. I don't think maintenance is here. I don't think anybody's. We're probably the only two people in the entire building at the moment, so I don't think anyone will harm the cardboard.
Okay, that's a good thing.
We hope not. I mean, that when the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead in the corner there, that was actually out on the street the first day that surfaced, and someone had to bring it in. So
he's looking straight at me, man. It keeps me in line, I got to tell you.
Well, if you notice,
I don't want the program director looking at you while you're doing your Tweakonomics section.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I found it a bit unsettling in the very beginning, but now I find him reassuring. I feel like whatever goes wrong technically, he's here watching over everything.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
There's somebody else who's driving the ship here.
Yes, absolutely.
Just keep rowing.
If you'd like to give us a call, the number is 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. By the way, Eric Street in the chat room, some of these comments disappear after I first see them. It's really weird, but Facebook is like that. Sometimes it's wonky. Oh, I can see it on the other screen. So Eric Street asked, did Tony D have his new baby yet? Because we were talking earlier about how DJ Midas is on baby watch. At any moment, the new a little DJ Midas might be entering the world. But I don't know about Tony D. The last time I heard from Tony D was he was calling this show to invite me to go on the No More Excuses podcast so that he and his partner, Brian Mackey, could confront me with their various list of grievances about me and about this program. And then I made a Facebook Live video addressing the conversation that Tony and I had during that call, and to promote the fact that I was going to be going on the podcast that Monday to have that conversation. And then they got upset about it and they canceled me. So I never got to go on the show. And then they did a full. Actually, here, I'll give them a plug. If you're someone who doesn't like me, because I know for a fact I have hate listeners. Anyone who does a politically oriented talk show is going to have, or any kind of talk show, is going to have people who hate listen. So I'll give them a plug. If you don't like me and you want to listen to a couple of guys trashing me for a full hour, go to YouTube and type in No More Excuses, Brian Mackey. You'll want to include Brian's name, because if you just type in No More Excuses, you'll like a million things will come up. Type in No More Excuses, Brian Mackey, and look for the second newest video. And it's about an hour, and it's he and Tony D talking about...
I can't believe you have a lot of hate speech. I've only heard of... This is only the second instance I've heard of another broadcaster abusing you. First was Crazy Joe.
Crazy Joe, yes.
Or I wouldn't say his name. First was Crazy Joe.
Yes.
Who you took it about the face and neck on there pretty well, at least from what I heard driving in the car.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. And,
yeah.
And now what? These people, you've pushed their noses out of joint?
I guess so. The thing is, Grant, it's weird calling you that when you're sitting at the desk. Maybe we should have had you. No, I'm just kidding. But so I don't take anything personally when it comes to the show. So, whether it's a caller calling up and they're mean to me, or somebody saying mean things on social media or whatever. So in one sense, I'm actually a very sensitive person.
Sure.
When it's outside of the show, just like in my personal life or whatever, I'm actually pretty sensitive. Like I get my feelings hurt fairly easily. But on the other hand, when it comes to the show, anything involving the show, it's very easy for me to compartmentalize. So when it comes to the show, it's the opposite. Like, I could sit here and that phone could ring and I could get 10 calls in a row of listeners just calling up to tell me how much they hate me and they think I'm awful and they hate my show. And not only would it not hurt me at all, I would probably revel in it and find a way to turn it into a bit or something and have fun with it.
Sure.
On the other hand, say that happened and then I got off the air and I look at my phone and I see I have a text message maybe from an old friend or a family member, just completely separately, somebody's telling me, hey, Matt, just wanted to tell you I hate you and I never want to speak to you again. That will crush me.
Does this tend to happen like over like a political issue or a delivery issue or a content issue, or what's the beef?
Usually content, actually. See, that's the funny thing. So when people get upset with me and it tends to be about the show, sometimes it's not about politics, but it's about, like in the case of the guys from No More Excuses, they didn't seem to appreciate my feud with Crazy Joe, and they felt that
well, that sounds cheap. They got a whole hour's worth of material out of you and Crazy Joe bantering.
Oh, it's not just
I should have thought of that.
Well, see, the thing is, they came to the conclusion that that's all my show is, and that I don't talk about politics or issues anymore. Because what happens is, and I understand the psychology of it, and it's not just them, it's other people who have done this too, but someone will tune in occasionally and they'll hear something they don't like, and then they just assume in their minds that that must be what the whole show is all the time, just that thing that they didn't like.
I get that. I do understand that.
Yeah.
Like you say, psychologically, I understand that.
Oh, yeah. It's that myopic way people look at things. Like when people think that whatever they see right in front of them, that's all there is to the world.
10 points for myopic. That means short-sighted, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Well, I mean, and in fact, in the case of Tony D, we actually saw that play out in real time one day, because I'm sitting here doing the show. It was a day that I was all alone, And I spent the entire first hour, a solid first hour, all about politics. And I went through several political issues that were happening at the time, just dry politics, not talking about Crazy Joe or any of these other weird characters, just nothing but just hard politics. Take a break, come back, second hour, phone rings, it's Tony D. And he's going, this may have been actually that last call, the very last time he called the show, and he's like, Matt, what is it? I don't understand your show anymore. You don't talk about, you used to talk about politics. Now you never talk about politics. And instead you're talking about this other stuff. And I said, Tony, I just spent the entire first hour of the show talking about nothing but politics. Didn't talk about anything else except politics. And he goes, well, I just tuned in. I just turned on the show. I didn't hear the first hour. It's like, yeah, I know.
Number one, he called in. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
he called in.
Yeah.
Number two, I've heard you say it, and I, you have the occasional musician. You have, you have different types of discussions. I didn't know this was, the Sean Hannity show or something. I didn't think that was what we were.
Right.
What this was.
Yeah, I mean the way and the show. See, they're part of their beef too is they talk about how different the show is than it used to be because it used to be a political show and now it's all this other stuff. That's what they talk about. One of the things they talk about in their hour-long video, just trashing me. And it's like,
you deviated from the syllabus.
But it's not even accurate. From the beginning, this show has always been, at its core, it's a political talk show. But we've always taken side streets and gone off on other things. And, Eazy-G comes in and does his entertainment report once a week, and that's a fun thing. Nothing political about that. I do have musicians on sometimes. Sometimes other chicanery and shenanigans happen. And, and we do have other stuff. So it's a political talk show, but with other stuff mixed in. And it's been like that literally from the beginning. But these guys are sitting there like, oh, man, I used to love the show so much when it was all about politics, and now all he talks about is Crazy Joe and
you'll never make it on CNN.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to clean up the content.
But it's like, no, the show's exactly the same as it's always been. But I don't mind. I mean, hey, at least they're talking about me.
And that's why I said he called in, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
The phone rang, so.
And for the record, I'm not mad at those guys at all because I don't take any of this personally,
Yep.
And the thing is, and my attitude is too, hey, if you want to talk bad about me, just make sure you spell my name right. Just it's about the publicity.
Yeah.
Although it's funny, something that occurred to me recently, that show where they spend the entire hour talking about me, they never actually, Brian says my first name a couple of times. Tony never says my name. He refers to me as that guy and things like that. And I know, here's the thing though. Here's what's funny. I know they must have talked about that beforehand and they must have said, you know what? Matt wants the publicity. We're not going to give him any publicity. We'll never actually say his name throughout the show. And they probably thought they were being super clever. Like, oh, we'll show him. We won't actually say his name because that's what he wants. Meanwhile, it never occurred to them. I'm sure it never occurred to them. Who knows? Maybe one of them's listening now and they'll hear me say it. That if you do a show, if you do a podcast and you're speaking, you're criticizing somebody, but you never actually identify during the show who it is that you're criticizing, that is incredibly frustrating to the listener.
Yes.
That they have to sit through that entire hour and then they get to the end of it and they still don't know who you're talking about.
It could be a former girlfriend at that point of both of theirs, right?
Yeah.
Like, who are we talking about?
But it's very frustrating to the listener because I know, if I listen to something and I catch it midway or something and I don't know who they're talking about, but I'm curious and I keep listening and I keep listening and I keep listening and I never hear the name of who they're talking about. I mean, it's frustrating to listen to and it drives me away from that content creator.
And what's twice as frustrating is they spent the whole bloody hour talking about you. You were the content.
Right. So I have no problem. I mean, because that's the only way they get a lot of clicks is if they're trashing somebody. But it's just funny to me that they thought they were being clever by, we won't give him what he wants.
Yeah.
We won't say his name. Meanwhile, all they're doing is alienating their own audience who doesn't get to ever hear who they're talking about. In the larger sense,
don't take it personally. Like you said, this is like your thing that you do. So it's that's separate from real life. I'll tell you though, in an instance where to me it was interesting was there is a guy on YouTube or Instagram who trashes companies. That's what he does.
Yeah.
You know, he gets some film and talks to some employees and like, these guys are the worst to work for. And he tries to inject his, you know, Instagram filters on his face while he does his thing, you know, the bunny ears. And and I actually thought it was funny because I knew somebody who worked for the company and they said that it wasn't a bed of roses there. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of entertaining. You know, you showed it to me and I showed it to somebody else. Like, it's doing what it's supposed to do. And it was funny that, you know, ABC company here in New Hampshire. It was entertaining, not knowing a darn thing about the company other than an employee who didn't have something good to say about it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. So if you look at it in that, you know, you're a commodity in that sense, it furthered you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But, but that was my long-winded way of answering Eric Street's question. I have no idea if Tony D, if his new baby has been born. If so, I hope for good health and all that. Like I said, I'm not mad at those guys at all. I never was. But the thing is, you know, I live in a world where everyone takes everything so personally. It's
2021, man.
It's unbelievable. You know, it's like
and when you make fun of it being the way it is, that's not cool either.
Yeah.
In my experience, when I've said, "Hey, it's 2021," you can't say that anymore.
Right.
Like, Mike, like what? I was being funny about 2021. Like, it's not funny. No, I guess not. Sorry, that's the way I look at stuff.
Right. Yeah, you can't joke about not being able to joke about certain things. Yeah.
I'm like, but that's what I did for a while. Is I tried to make fun of stuff on a light level. You know, not of people, but of, you know.
Yeah.
Oxymoronic things that we see on every corner we go to right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Abigail Gem in the chat room says, anyone who lives has people who hate them. You don't have to be on the radio for that. Well, that's true. Hey. That is very true. And here's another gentleman we were talking about earlier. Hey, on your way in, did you happen to run into anybody like... we'll let you get mic'd up there.
Did you see any artwork?
But,
That's what I'm talking about.
Now, did you, so here is Rob Azevedo joins us. Did you happen to run into either Ryan Gorman or Gonzo?
Neither. I would love to see Ryan Gorman. I want to meet that dude in person.
Oh, you've never met Ryan?
We've passed each other a couple times.
Oh.
I find him to be one of the most entertaining people that I watch videos of on Facebook and all that stuff. The guy's hilarious. He should have he should be on Comedy Central or something like that. He should have a gig.
I did hear him on the radio. The voiceovers he does. He's got the cartoonish kind of voice noises that I'm like, there's a lot of stuff. You know, there's something you don't hear on radio all the time.
He is uber talent, man. Yeah. I mean, I've watched him. He was just doing a bike ride down around Nashville one time. And I was checking him out. I mean, I was watching it, and I was riveted. I don't know. There's something about the dude. You know, he's got that it. He's got that it thing.
He does, yeah.
You know?
And the Stacey Wilcox character is just genius.
I don't know if I've heard that one. But yeah, there's a turned-around piece of art in the lobby down there.
Yes. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Eazy-G.
Hey.
Eazy-G.
What's up, Ease?
Hey, you're gonna laugh. The other day when I was at the McCarthy show outside over at the 603 Bar and Grill, Rob, I had to take a double look. It looked like you were hanging out there talking to somebody, but it was a fake Rob Azevedo.
Was it? How do you know?
The doppelganger.
That's it.
Yeah, it looked just like you, but it was a younger version.
Might have been me. I mean, I've been known
next time I hear him on the radio, so I got to tell him that story.
Handsome guy, right?
You never know. You never know. It
That's
could have been me.
That's not Rob Azevedo. That's a fake Rob Azevedo.
I don't know. I've spilled a lot of booze at Panucci's over the years.
You have a double out there, Rob.
Possibly. Huh. Big nose, big lip, Portuguese dude.
So I thought I'd call up and tell you that great story. I know you're running out of time, so have a great show.
We did laugh, dude.
Thanks.
We did
Thanks,
laugh.
Eric.
Wow. All right. Eric is going to be calling us on Monday with a entertainment report. Apparently, he won't be leaving the house because it's going to be very hot.
Oh, it's hot, all right.
But he wears a muscle shirt. He shouldn't be hot.
That's true. Well, here's the thing, though. We don't necessarily want to see him with the muscle shirt in the extreme heat, because when I don't know about you guys, but when he's all sweaty and his muscles are glistening, I feel a little threatened. I feel a little insecure. I feel inadequate. Is what I'm getting at.
I get intimidated by that mat of underarm hair that he has.
Yeah,
like
that too.
Bulging out of his, his underneath his pits.
Yeah, that is.
I find it intimidating.
It is very intimidating.
Very masculine.
And very masculine, yes.
Grow it. There's nothing more alpha.
Let it grow, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing more alpha than a man who just
It's like
lets
that whole
it go.
beard craze going on.
Yeah,
Right.
everywhere.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Eazy-G call back. I will be
Yes.
live in the studio on Monday. That was only today I wasn't coming in because of the heat.
Oh, you'll be live with us. Wonderful. And will you have the mat of underarm hair?
So I'll see you guys on Monday.
Oh, my God.
Have a great weekend.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
All right. So he'll be live.
Matt Connarton, you're going to have to get him a Unleashed tank top.
Ooh, we haven't made any of those yet. That's a great idea, though.
Yeah, make a limited edition one. Doesn't Easy like the big bright colors too? He's not big into the black stuff. He likes
Right.
the yellows and the greens and reds.
You would run a 50.
Yeah.
45 bucks a piece.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Wow.
What's new? What's going on these days?
Well, we've been celebrating. Actually, Grant over here and I hadn't had a chance to discuss it, but today, of course, I've been celebrating on the show. It's Reinstatement Day for President Trump.
Oh, right. It's great to see him back.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, though. And
Tonight?
I don't know. I'm wondering because I
It's happened,
assumed I assumed it was going to be at noon because that's when the
they did speculate
inauguration
noon. I
is.
heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And
Matt, what don't you understand? He never left. He is still our president.
that is what some of these QAnon people think. Apparently,
He's on sabbatical, dude.
Yeah. Some of them think that Biden is actually taking orders from him secretly.
Well,
He's
Don't
doing
tell me
such a bad job. The market's over 35. It was supposed to dip well below 30 when he got into office. He's got a huge, nearly once a generation infrastructure bill coming through. Let's pray that goes through. Yeah.
And we're going back to Afghanistan.
What do you care about Afghanistan? I'm not saying that, but I'm like, who cares? You don't care. I'm not saying you, but anybody who wants to argue about Afghanistan,
I get it.
show me it on a map. And then argue it with me.
Oh, well, by that standard, that would be. I have to admit, I would be. I have been talking about it a lot on the show, but I would be somewhat challenged to be able to point to it exactly. I could kind of guess, but I'd come close.
See, do you know? I think this is like a Stonewall strategy. I think they're going to get the Taliban all back in one, and the beautiful U.S. of A. is going to come in and just strike them.
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Action movie style.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, Biden slips on those aviators and just gives it one of those.
The wink and the gun, yeah.
Don't worry, boys, I got you.
Yep. And he walks into the rose garden,
Yeah,
into the bushes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That beautiful pulled back face of his. I love it.
That would be something. Well, what if, though?
Come on, man.
Now, what if, and I'm sure there's Q people who think this, and maybe they're right. Maybe the reason his face looks pulled back, maybe that's actually, you guys have seen the movie Face Off, right?
And, with
Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
I sure have.
What if it's actually Biden with Trump's face this whole time?
Matt, you never cease to amaze me.
Uh-huh.
You always bring something to the game. You always bring something to the table.
Thank you.
And he's going to come back better than ever. Gas is going to drop to $1.50 a gallon.
Ooh.
I love it when people start blaming the president for summer gas. I don't know. Has it only been like that for 50 years? Gas goes up in the summer.
Well, that's true, but not that much.
Yeah.
See, what is it, $3 now for regular?
I think so.
Two and high change?
It's around there. Yeah, it's around there.
Just selfishly, yeah, you're right. It's gone around. It's been around forever. It jumps in the summer.
How far do you travel, Mike, on the average a week? Are you on the road much?
I did go to the beach today, but other than that, no. I go to the airport in Boston or the Nooch or Pappy's Pizza.
Yep.
Rite Aid.
I'm with you. Yeah.
The Music Mill here and the Hop Knot.
You went to the beach today? It must have been packed.
I went last night. Yeah, I went just this morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, by 11:30 it was party scene.
Jeez, yeah.
Had to get out of there.
With this heat. Yeah, those of you listening online in other parts of the country might not know although then again, most of the country I think is having a heat wave right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty hot.
Summer.
Pretty hot. Now, what do you have coming up tonight, Rob? I know that Grant Lampton is going to be joining you, I think, in the second half.
Grant Lampton is he's with me whether he's not here or whether he's here.
I
Kid's
appreciate that,
always
man.
with me.
I appreciate that.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
He's in your heart.
He's in my absolutely.
I
in
hope you
heart,
heard my
man.
shout out at the
Wow.
beginning of the program, right, Matt?
Yes.
I missed it, but thank you.
So the reason I'm here is because Steph Dupuis introduced us, and you were like, "Hey, come on in, do your thing. And
that's one of many beautiful things about Stephanie.
never look back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Beautiful,
nice.
Beautiful girl.
Oh.
Let me see. Senny Hunt is on the show. Senny Hunt was a guy that played music all around New Hampshire, and then he did the Nashville thing, just like last week's guest of mine, Dean Harlem. So he's back for the summer for a few weeks, and I think he's going to go back there. So he's in studio. He's going to play some tunes. We're going to talk Nashville. We're going to talk about progress in his career. And then at around 6:30-ish, we have Andrew of the North calling in. He's from Concord, him and his band, and they have a brand new CD out. So we're going to play some cuts off that and talk to him for a little bit. And then I'm going to spin some local tunes, and then I'm going to go sit in a basement off Elm Street and do my thing for the night. And then I'm going to the Ukrainian club with my brothers, and I'm going to go watch Who Knows What, one of my favorite bands in Manchester, rip it up there. So I got a night filled with music starting at 6.
Walk past the Hop Knot. I'll buy you a beer.
Yes, I will. 100%.
Excellent.
I'll bomb over there, and I'll buy you the beer.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Look at you. Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
I
All
owe
right.
him.
Yeah. Well.
And I have to talk to you because I think, remember, I'm doing those summer. Can I make one more plug, Matt?
Oh, by all means.
Okay,
yeah.
so tomorrow, up at Memorial Field in Pembroke, we've been doing this summer concert series. Last week was Jasmine Mann. Tomorrow is a great singer-songwriter from Exeter named Todd Herron, and real old school troubadour. He's going to be performing from 6 o'clock until about 7:15 up at Memorial Field in Pembroke. Which is, I don't know if it's, do you guys know the area up there? There's Allenstown, Suncook, and Pembroke, and I don't know, they're all the same thing,
Danville,
but you know,
Yeah.
But anyways, it's in Pembroke, it's off Broadway Street, and so come on by 6 to 7, beautiful setting, free show, Todd Herron. So that's what's going on. I feel
That sounds great.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
cool.
man.
Very good. Very good. Well, we'll start to wrap up here so we can do the changeover. I thought Ryan Gorman would be back, but
I wish he came back.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe I hope Gonzo didn't lure him into some sort of terrible trap.
How's Gonzo been? Good.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
The fly has been captured.
Did he get
by
his
the
own
spider.
show yet at the station?
No.
Matt, do you know sometimes people say to me, and maybe I don't want to, they're like, why don't you do a podcast? And I'm like, I would never, if you don't give up a spot on a radio station.
Right.
You don't unless you are kicked out the door.
Right.
And I'm like, because I'm on the radio and you just don't give it up.
Right, exactly. Well, and it gets uploaded in podcast form anyway, so you already have a podcast.
Yes, but you're on the radio.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're very blessed.
We
to
are
have
blessed. And
this.
there are so few spots in the radio world to get your own show.
There's been a lot of consolidation. And the pandemic only sped it up too, because a lot of these companies for a while couldn't sell any advertising inventory.
True.
Which led to more layoffs, and so I mean, there's already been there's a certain station right here in New Hampshire. I won't say which one, but they have everything comes out of Denver, Colorado. Like all their programming comes out of, it's somebody in Denver. But you wouldn't know it when the disc jockeys do their voice tracking. They talk as though they're in New Hampshire.
Can you tell any difference between if you close your eyes, between one local station? The only difference between those, what I think is just like fast food radio, what I call it.
Yeah.
You get the same songs. It's the same canned laughter. It's the same canned conversations. I can't tell one from the other.
Yeah. There's a lot of homogeny. Absolutely.
But then you have 95.3 FM, WMNH.
That's right. We're the coolest thing around.
And the variety is bananas, dude. I got to tell you, in the off hours, what you guys play when you guys aren't doing this.
Yeah.
The blues music that I hear. The jazz in the morning on my way to work before Pete gets in is like smooth jazz, not smooth jazz, but like traditional jazz, blues, 70s, rock and roll. I heard about you guys before I met you just because somebody had said, listen to this, and it was some obscure 80s tune. But you guys have that variety, in the music. So that rings true, man.
And look at you now. You're sitting in the big chair. Well, you're sitting in the guest chair.
The news desk.
The news desk.
That's only on Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
And as my wife reminds me, it was supposed to only be a 15-minute slot.
But you're literally sitting there now.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm multitasking.
Yes. All right. We're going to wrap up so Rob
My
can get in here.
recreation, man.
But, gentlemen, thank you both. Make sure you stick around. Rob Azevedo will be up next at 6 p.m. with Granite State of Mind. Grant Lampton will be on there. And tonight at the Hop Knot, our wonderful sponsor from 7 to 9 p.m., I will be back at 7:30 p.m. with Paulie C. and Dan Randlett for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. So thanks, guys. Thank you to all the callers today. And if you missed any part of this program, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at mattconnerton.com. And I have an appropriate song to play us out for the weather. And I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.